Let's talk about variables. When defining variables in Kotlin, we're going to use a val or var keywords. val variables, also called read-only variables, which means once a value is assigned, it can't be changed. var variables, on the other hand, are so-called mutable variables, which means we can change the value anytime. Data type can be inferred in Kotlin. What it means is, by the variable's value, if we can infer the type, we can omit the data type. Let's see here. Here's a variable called data1 that has int type. But the next data2 and data3 don't have a data type. Because, as you can see, we have the integer value assigned, so we can infer what the data type is. Next, let's see how to assign value. Kotlin doesn't initialize a property by default. When declaring, we should set the default value of top level or class member properties. If you don't want to assign for now, we should use late init or lazy modifiers. In case of local properties, on the other hand, we don't need to initialize the properties. Let's test it out. Let's add a top level property. As you can see, there is no error here. But if we delete the initial value, it complains right away. So top level property should have an initial value. Then what about class members? In this class, let's add a property. If we set a value, there's no error either. But if, again, we delete the value, it complains right away again. So class member also should have a default value. Lastly, let's see functions local properties. Let's add a local property. Without initial value, there's no error showing up. Of course, when you use the local property, you can assign a value. Again, top level and class member property should have initial value. Okay, next, let's talk about nullable properties. In programming, null means the property is not initialized. In Kotlin, we have two types of properties. One is nullable, which is that it can be null. The other is non-nullable, which is that it cannot be null. This means Kotlin supports null safety functionality. So when we declare properties, we can decide nullable or non-nullable to avoid null exceptions. If you want a nullable property, add question symbol right after the data type. Let's see here. Like these properties, if you want a nullable property, add question symbol. Let's test it out. Let's add another property which has a string type. Let's set null value. It complains right away because it's non-nullable. So adding question symbol makes it as a nullable property. Let's add another property and set a string value of 1. And if we change it to null, it got an error because it's not nullable property. It can be null. This is it for variables.